Hello everybody, welcome into Trackilicious. Today we have round number 3 of the LMU GT3 Series, and today we are headed to Silverstone, the home of Grand Prix racing, the 3.5 mile track nestled about 2 hours outside of London, held one of the first ever Grand Prix races. But today it hosts one of the first Trackilicious League races in the Le Mans Ultimate Championship. Today, 40 minutes of racing, no pit stops in between, a sprint from start to finish. It's been an exciting couple of rounds so far. Just have to wait and see what round number 3 brings today around Silverstone. A great place for some GT3 action. Great side-by-side opportunities. Lots of corners where the apex switches, so you can get some good overtaking opportunities. Some overlaps here and there. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the race will bring our way. But first, we have to head to the 20 minutes of qualifying. It's officially 21 minutes on the clock. The first minute allows the drivers to get their qualifying setups ready and loaded in before the first 10 minutes will open up for either the odd or the evens, and then the second half of that qualifying will be for the other half of the drivers. So with that being said, let's head to Silverstone and see what's what out on the track. Looks like it's going to be the even numbers out first. It's going to be Mercedes Harrison that leads the grid out of the pits in the Corvette. And we are used to seeing quite a small number of even-numbered drivers compared to odd. We'll see whether things change here in round number 3. But welcome in, happy Tuesday. Happy to have you all here with us at Trackilicious. Let's get the show on the road. The second Corvette out on track is Ryan Joyner in the number 20. Going through the loop for entering onto the Wellington Straight. This track does have the Formula 1 start-finish, so turn 1 will be into Abbey Farm, and then into that complex there. And now out of Luffield goes Joyner to head into the fast part of the track. First, it's Copse. Quick right-hand corner. But just getting the tires warmed up here. No major dramas from the Corvette early on his outlap. Hello, Doc. Hello, Hibarkos. Welcome in. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's go racing indeed, Mr. Doc Milby. Daniel Kondrachuk looking for a repeat of last week, finishing up on the podium positions, but he will hope to take the top step this time. Started on pole, but still with a good second place finish to his name. He will look to carry that momentum here into round number 3 in the number 50 Aston Martin. And yeah, just 6 even-numbered cars out on track. Harrison leads the way. Then Hashim Ali in the 686 Lexus. You can hear the Corvette of Harrison just in front of the Lexus. Both with V8 powered engines. Slightly different configuration. One's got it at the front, one in the middle. Just about keeps it within track limits going through Copse. Now into Maggotts and Becketts. Nice and smooth over the curbs. No major roll from the Lexus. No shout of oversteer or understeer. That thing looks planted. The Corvette of Harrison is going quickest. Purple Sector 1 and Purple Sector 2. Lexus just scraping the front splitter as it pitches to the right. Into one of the slower parts of the track at the Vale Chicane, where Ali will exit and finish the lap about 1.9 seconds off of Mercedes Harrison's pace, setting a 2 minutes .710. George Elmer in the lone Ferrari on the grid. As the 22 goes through Stowe and entering the Vale Chicane to close out the lap. We'll see where Elmer will slot in. Ali in second, Joyner in third, Chris Jackson in fourth. Where will George Elmer go in the Ferrari? Goes all the way up to second place, 1.3 seconds off of provisional pole. What about the Aston of Kondrachuk? Still that same complex left through Stowe, and then the Vale Chicane remains. Tight entry to the right, or to the left, excuse me, opening up as you get through the corner and to the start-finish line. It's a Purple Sector 2. Kondrachuk goes all the way to the top, about half a second ahead of Mercedes Harrison. Does the Corvette have a response? We tune in at a perfect moment as we head into that same Vale Chicane. Going underneath the Michelin advertising. Despite being on Goodyear tires. Michelins are for the hypercars. But nevertheless, Harrison comes to the line. Purple Sector 1 a little bit down on Sector 3. Or Sector 2, excuse me. It's a Purple Sector 3, but it's not enough. Gets very, very close. 43 milliseconds separates our top two. Hashim Ali improves his time and gets to within half a second of provisional pole. What can Chris Jackson do in the McLaren on home soil? Very heavy over the curbs on the inside. Eagerly applying the power there as he gets to the line and can't improve on his final sector. Will remain in 6th place. Now Elmer out of the final corner. 3 minutes, or just under 3 minutes to go in the even qualifying session. Elmer can't get a personal best on the board on this lap. He will stay in 4th place. About 1.3 seconds behind Hashim Ali. Kondrachuk down on his first sector time. Overall best Sector 2. What will Sector 3 bring for the number 50 Aston? He comes up to the line now and improves his benchmark by another few hundredths of a second. Now 68 milliseconds between himself and the Corvette of Mercedes Harrison. The two black and gold cars in the session battling it out for the top spot. Harrison down on the pace in the first two sectors. Now is the time to improve, and not a personal best. Once again in Sector 3, just one lap will remain for these drivers to try and get their personal best laps on the board. No improvements for Ali in the Lexus as well. Joyner back in the pits. That's the session done for the number 20. A 2:02.641 from Ryan Joyner in the number 20. Oh, and Ali with an oversteer moment. That'll be the end of the session for the Lexus. He'll just pull off to the side of the road and return back to the pits. Harrison gets a good Sector 1 on the board, overall best. As we hit the 11-minute mark, the odd-numbered drivers can now work their way out to the end of the pit lane as Harrison continues through the high-speed section, goes through Cops, very well planted in the Corvette, now into Maggotts and Becketts, a tab of the brakes. Entry into the first part, carrying the speed, and it's just the same story all throughout this complex. A dab of brakes, turn it in, a dab of brakes, turn it in, and now, finally, you can get back onto the power before the hangar straight. Going into Stowe for the final few corners. Kondrachuk, in the meantime, improves the personal bench, or improves his personal best and the overall benchmark. It's now a near 3/10 gap for Mercedes Harrison to try and make up, but it is a good lap so far. Purple Sector 1, green Sector 2. What will it be for Sector 3? Trying to cut across as much of the track as possible to the line. Improves by just a few tenths. Then it'll be, at best, a second place start for Mercedes Harrison, and that is the even numbered drivers all back into the pits. Now, over to the odds. Ivan Cabral leads a trio of Porsches out onto the track. The 157 ahead of the Terrell brothers. Jake ahead of Zach. We saw the Porsches have some strong pace in round number 1 at Sebring. Terrell continuing his momentum and getting 2 race wins to start the season. Can he continue that here at Silverstone? I believe at Sebring there were 4 Porsches in the top 5. And now just the 3 on the grid tonight. Zach Terrell in the 69. Getting good top 10 finishes so far this season. And now we begin the session, and there's a Mercedes that got in the mix of the Terrells, but nonetheless, it is just qualifying. Brian DeSantiago in the 777 Lamborghini. It's a busy track out there, just 6 in the first 10 minutes, and we got about 12 now in the second half of the qualifying for the odd-numbered drivers. Brian DeSantiago using the 85 Iron Dames livery. Ivan Cabral, purple sector 1. It's looking good so far for the 157 Porsche. Just needs to carry all the speed through the high-speed sections. Not even a dab of the brakes from the Porsche there, it looked like, as he entered into the first part of Maggotts and Becketts, getting onto the power, running just a drift wide, but manages to keep it within track limits on the cut through Chapel and on to the hangar straight, being chased by a trio of cars there, and it's a purple sector 2 as well, but goes a little deep into Stowe, missing the apex. Might cost him a little bit of time there, but it's still a pretty strong lap from Ivan Cabral to start things off for the odd-numbered drivers. The 157 out of the final quarter. Yet another black and gold car. Gonna be looking like it's gonna be a spot on the top, a 159.953 from Cabral, and Terrell improves that benchmark by a 1/10.5. Zach Terrell gets into 6th place. What can a Bube Honor do? Moves up to 9th place ahead of Jackson behind Joyner. No valid lap on the board from Hildenbrand just yet, as Dom Matroni, the caboose of this GT3 pack, we'll see what time he can set. Coming up to the line now in the McLaren, goes inside the top 10. Up to 7th place. Oh, and there's a spin from Matroni at turn 1. Keeps it out of the wall. What's going on, Eric? Hope you're doing well. Dom Matroni getting back onto the track here. Little bit of a spin, but no major dramas. As the grid goes through. The Lexus of Bort Bonnerson and Brian DeSantiago sharing the track at the moment. Here the V8 and the V10 just roaring through. And as they head through Maggotts and Becketts, Brian DeSantiago will certainly like the slipstream of the Lexus in the straight line. But here, through the twisty bits, he will be slowed just a touch. But nonetheless, it is qualifying. It is important to make those gaps where you can, as the 777 Lambo goes over the camera. And Ivan Cabral goes to the top. He will be the lead Porsche now, a 159.472 from the 157. Nana Afawakwa moves into the top 3 in the number 23 AMG. As this qualifying battle continues between the Lexus and the Lamborghini. An improvement from DeSantiago. See what he can do in the last 3 minutes of the session. He's got time for 2 more laps here. Lexus, a popular choice today as well, as we have a trio of them out on track. Brett Samuelson just outside the top 10 in 13th place. Oh, and a spin in, a half spin. He was able to hold it, kept it out of the wall. But those tires will be a little bit unhappy. Still has time to go around and start another lap. We missed the 23 AMG last week. But Afawakwa is back, and at the moment, it is a top 3 position. Terrell goes to the top by 7 thousandths of a second. Super close between the two Porsches. The 83 will go to the front. The 157 slides back down to second. Thank you, Hash Browns, for the follow. And Afawakwa cannot find an improvement there on that lap. One more go around for the number 23 to see if he can get onto the front row. Cabral back to the pits. The 157 will start from second place unless a driver from behind can get an improvement. Afawakwa, personal best, sector 1. Handful of drivers already back in the pits. Hildenbrand in 6th, back in the pits. Zach Terrell from 7th. Pork Chop from 14th, back in the pits as well. As Dom Matroni looks to close out his lap here. He's in 9th place, needs about half a second, a little more than half a second to get ahead of Ali in 8th. Does he have the time in the bag to do it? Coming up to the line. No, can't get an improvement on his time, but he did cross the line before the checkered flag, so he's got one more tour of Silverstone to try and improve his personal best lap time. Terrell heads through the final sector to close out his qualifying session. Down on his time in sector 1 and 2. But he's got provisional pole as it stands, just looking to improve the benchmark. Can he do it? Not quite on that lap. Still, as it stands, he will have the pole. Checkered flag is out. So see if the Mustang of Diego Mateo can improve. It's in 16th place as it stands. Needs about a 1/10 of a second to get ahead of Chris Jackson. Personal best sector 1 and 2 so far for Mateo. Where can the 787 go? Goes up to 13th. A good lap, improves his personal best by about a second there. Now Brian DeSantiago, it's the same story for him. Personal best, sector 1 and 2 on the board from the V10 Lamborghini. Where will he go? He's able to get ahead of Jackson and up to 16th place. And that will be the qualifying session complete. All 18 drivers done and sorted. The 777 goes back to the pits, and we will get through our grid walk per se, if you will. Joiner, don't worry about it.
And drivers go to the grid for a race start.
There's always some quick people out here, and they certainly like to put on a show. But you got some good company around you. Elmer, always fun to race. Dr. Porkchop from behind might join that group as well. And as the grid gets on to the track, let's remind ourselves of how we start from back to front. Bor Bonderson in 18th place. He lines up next to Chris Jackson in 17th in the number 2 McLaren. Brian DeSantiago next in 16th in the 777 Lamborghini. He will start next to Dr. Porkchop in 15th place in the 71 Aston Martin. Then you've got Brett Samuelson in the 29 Lexus. He is next to Diego Mateo in the 787 Mustang. Ahead of them, Ryan Joyner in 12th. But hey, 12th, still pretty good result here, Mr. Joyner. He lines up next to George Elmer just outside the top 10 in the number 22 Ferrari. Abube Honor next in the number 55 Mustang, starting in 10th. Dom Matroni next to him in the number 5 McLaren in 9th. Then you got the lead Lexus of Hashim Ali in the 686, starting from 8th place. Zach Terrell next to him on the 4th row in the 69 Porsche. Josh Hildenbrand in the number 7 BMW starts from 6th.
Has started.
Podium finisher from last week, Mercedes Harrison, starts from 5th in the 830 Corvette. Podium sitter from last week as well, Daniel Kondrachuk, starts from 4th, with Nana Afawakwa next to him in the number 23 AMG. It's an all-Porsche front row. Ivan Cabral in the 157 starts from 2nd, and Jake Terrell with a pole position start in the number 83. Can he get 3 consecutive race wins to start the season? Will there be a sneaky competitor from behind? We know those golden black cars are quick. Cabral, Kondrachuk, and Harrison all with podium finishes this season. Can any of them dethrone Terrell at the top as we head around the final corner? The green flag will wave and release us for 40 minutes of racing. Here we go. Good start from Hildenbrand in the BMW. He got closed off by the 2 black and gold cars at the front. Cabral no way through. And oh, what's one of the Mustangs, I do believe, going wide. But Mercedes Harrison with a good start so far, maintains 5th place. Kondrachuk still ahead, Terrell in 6th behind. Hildenbrand down a position to 7th. But your top 5 remain unchanged. Mercedes Harrison trying for an opportunity here as the 2 Porsches that started on the front row next to each other are getting very close. And Jake Terrell getting pushed a touch wide by Ivan Cabral, but able to accelerate out of the danger, with Cabral trying to stay close, and Afawakwa in that final podium position, staying close in the Mercedes as well. They're going to go side by side into Maggotts and Becketts. Is there going to be enough room for Cabral to try and work his way through? No. Terrell, good defensive line onto the entry, but Cabral still trying to find any little window to sneak his nose in. Staying right in the slipstream, Terrell going right to the inside. Cabral tries to cut to the apex at the last minute, but it is not enough of an overlap for him to try and get that move done. Terrell holds on to the race lead after lap 1. Two Porsches continuing to battle at the front. Afawakwa not too far off, keeping within a second of the race leader. Then you've got Daniel Kondrachuk with Mercedes Harrison right behind. These two finished on the podium last week, sitting in 4th and 5th at the moment. We'll see if they can get a little bit of pace here and try and challenge Nana Afawakwa or Cabral and Terrell. Oh, and bad news from Dom Matroni. The McLaren was working his way up the field, now dropping back to 16th place. And a bit of damage on the front end as well there for Dom. But he will continue on as Ryan Joyner gets his way inside the top 10 into 9th. So a good bit of race pace here from the number 20 Corvette early on. Dr. Porkchop inside the top 10 as well after starting from 15th. So a great start from the 71. He's got Ryan Eason behind him for company in the 705 Corvette. Oh, and a spin from Porkchop through Maggotts and Becketts. He holds on to it. But where will Porkchop rejoin? Samuelson and DeSantiago get through. But I think Dr. Porkchop was at least able to hold it and keep it out of the wall, but those tires are going to be red hot now, as just now he's able to rejoin back onto the track. Unlucky there, I think he just caught a little bit too much curb, sent the car airborne, and just unsettled the rear end and couldn't control it. Top 5 here, very, very close. 2 seconds separates Jake Terrell and Mercedes Harrison. Brakes are glowing red hot on Ivan Cabral's car. No one's really able to pull a gap here in this top 5. Still anyone's match for a podium position, the race win as well. Great battle between these two Porsches, perhaps. They're just trying to build a gap behind before really engaging in some side-by-side action later on in this one. Just 5 minutes gone by so far. Dom Matroni side by side with Jackson, trying to get his way through and up to 12th place, and he does get ahead into 12th. Hildenbrand in the number 7 BMW also dropping back outside the top 10 after starting from 6th. Dom Matroni looking to recover. Back inside the top 10. Next target, Brett Samuelson, about 2 seconds up ahead. It's the Lexus that just passed by there. The top 2 stamped next to each other. Ivan Cabral wants to apply all of the pressure he can. Jake Terrell, very consistent, very quick. We've seen it from him in race number 1 and 2. And in the early goings, he is showing why he is the early championship leader up until this point of the season. The 2 black and gold cars, 4th and 5th Kondrachuk in the 50 Aston Martin. Mercedes Harrison in the 830 Corvette, trying to get through and maybe get on the back of Afawakwa in the AMG and apply some pressure to the driver holding on to the final podium position. Even with the slipstream, the Corvette not able to close in down that hanger straight. 2 Porsches buzz on through. And then the V8s roar behind AMG, Aston, and Corvette. 3 completely different engine types, but still separated by less than a second on track here. Porsches are indeed able to build a pretty good gap over. Oh my goodness, what's happening to Afawakwa there? Just dipping in and out of the screen for a moment. 10th from the AMG. But as I was saying, dropping just a touch to the lead Porsches, 2.5 seconds between the top two and this trio behind. Daniel Kondrachuk dips a wheel into the grass, exiting Luffield. Down the straights especially, it looks like the AMG has a good advantage over the Aston behind, but through the corners, the Aston gaining that ever so crucial little bit of time that he needs to. Kondrachuk in a tricky spot here. Wants to try to catch the car ahead, but he's got a car right in his mirror as well with the Corvette of Harrison right on the bumper of the Aston Martin. Hashim Ali trying to stay within a second of Zach Terrell. 10 minutes gone by. It is Jake Terrell in the lead from Ivan Cabral. Then Nana Afawakwa rounds out your podium positions. Daniel Kondrachuk next, then Mercedes Harrison in 5th. Then these two cars in 6th and 7th. That's Zach Terrell and Hashim Ali in 7th. Abube Honor in 8th, Ryan Joyner 9th, and Diego Mateo rounds out your top 10. Top 5 remain unchanged from where they started. Terrell and Ali gaining a place. Honor, Joyner, Mateo, Samuelson, and Jackson, big movers in this one. As there are more positions getting swapped here. Ryan Joyner falls back outside the top 10. The Corvette slowly getting chased down by the two McLarens, but he's back up to speed going into Maggotts and Becketts. Now he's certainly under pressure from Jackson and Dom Matroni. Oh, and a switch in the top 5. Daniel Kondrachuk, he's back in the pits. The Aston has returned back after running in 4th. What has happened there? Unfortunate news there from the number 50 squad, as Kondrachuk will return back to the garage. Harrison will move up to 4th now and try and pressure Afawakwa for a podium position. Dom Matroni goes to the inside. Just about enough space left by Chris Jackson to allow Dom Matroni the space. But now through the slowest part of the track at the loop, Dom Matroni can't get the over-under done. Going down the straight, he's going to try and get it done into Brooklands. Down the inside, he's gonna send it down and take the place. Can he get across before the next corner? He can. He will move up to 11th. Ivan Cabral could not maintain the level of pressure he was applying to Terrell. Now falls back about 1.7 seconds from the race leader. Maybe just needs some clean air, rethink the strategy, and get back into it. The Aston farting. Oh no. Yeah, we saw the other Aston out on track, Dr. Porkchop, have an incident at Maggotts and Becketts where the back of that thing just got loose. Maybe a similar moment for Daniel Kondrachuk, who has not officially retired from this one. He's still in the garage getting repairs done. So we might just see the 50 back out on track. With Cabral dropping back to about 2 seconds. The gap to Afawakwa opened up to 3. But Mercedes Harrison closing in. That gap was at 1.5 seconds. Less than 1 as they head into Stowe. Once again, seeing good pace from the Porsches this week. The 83, Jake Terrell leading once again, this time from pole position. Had a front row start last week, but able to convert it to the top step of the podium. Started from pole this time now. Was under pressure at the start of the race. But opening up the gap to fellow Porsche driver Ivan Cabral in second place. How long is he going to be in the pits? I'm not sure. It all depends on how much damage he has and whether he either even wants to return back out onto the track. We have unfortunately lost Joshua Hildenbrand and George Elmer from this one. So the Ferrari and the BMW out. And no Ferraris or BMWs on the grid left. They were the lone soldiers of that manufacturer. Shimali, that gap just ebbing and flowing right around that second mark between himself and Zach Terrell for what is now a spot in the top 5. Ryan Joyner now behind the 2 McLarens. He was running up ahead of him in the top 10, but now just falling back behind the 2, which will give Dom Matroni a spot in the top 10. Chris Jackson moves up to 11th. Then Ryan Joyner back to the position that he started this race in, 12th. Zach Terrell just trying to escape the Lexus behind, and it looks like he's able to do so out of the slow speed section of the track. The Lexus just can't get the traction he wanted to. Now the gap opening up to over a second as we head into Maggotts and Becketts. Ryan Eason battling with Dr. Porkchop here. This is a battle for 13th place. We saw them close on track earlier, and then Porkchop had the moment at Maggotts and Becketts. Approaching that part of the track now. I love the Gulf livery on the Aston. A classic look. Ryan Eason with the grayed out Corvette. Also a good contrast between these two liveries. A bit of contrast in the way the cars are shaped as well. Aston more front heavy, the Corvette a lot more flat at the back as Ryan Eason weaves from side to side, getting some temperature into those tires. Trying to look big in the mirrors of Dr. Porkchop as they continue their battle for 13th place. Down the inside, Ryan Eason into the village corner, now into the loop. Dr. Porkchop will have the inside. Ryan Eason tries to get the over-under, but can't get the grip. A bit of a twitch on corner exit sees him have to drop behind the Aston once again, but it was a good look from Ryan Eason to try and sneak through the inside there. But like we were saying at the start, a lot of change in directions. The apex switches from the left to the right, and so the outside quickly becomes the inside, and Dr. Porkchop able to use that to his advantage and hold off the attack thrown by the Corvette. Brewcops, Maggotts, and Becketts are next. Dr. Porkchop going over the curbs very heavily compared to the Corvette of Ryan Eason. A lot more room given to those red sausage curbs on the apex. Good battle between these two, and Eason just tucking in behind once again through the Vale chicane. We saw him try to sneak into here before. Will the Corvette do it again? It's got a lot more speed through the high-speed corners than the Aston. Is there going to be a late dive? There is. To the inside goes the 82 of Ryan Eason. Can he hold the momentum around the outside? Not quite. Porkchop once again on the power in the Aston, able to hold off the attack. But Ryan Eason heavily over the curbs, drifting the car on the exit of Aintree, and just can't get the power down to stay close. Porkchop, a master at defending. We've seen it in ACC and transferring his skills to Le Mans Ultimate here. Through the high-speed corners is really where Ryan Eason can shine, and now they're going to go side by side through Maggotts and Becketts. The inside becomes the outside, and now Ryan Eason tries to stick his nose through the final part. Can he line it up and get the power down like he would like? But Dr. Porkchop once again has the inside for the final part where it matters, and he gets the power down and escapes in 13th and ahead. What a battle we are watching here. There you see it again through the high-speed corner at Stowe. The Corvette just so much quicker than the Aston, and now down the inside. The 82 takes advantage of the room given, and the 71 will drop back a position. Porkchop did a fantastic job of defending that for as long as he could. But the pace of that Corvette just cannot be matched right now. Ryan Eason is flying out there. And with that, we head into the final 14 minutes of the race. Terrell remains in the lead, growing his gap to 3.5 seconds over Ivan Cabral in second place. In third, Nana Afawakwa under pressure. Mercedes Harrison within a second in the 830 Corvette. Zach Terrell's inside the top 5 in the 69 Porsche. Hashim Ali in 6th. Then the pair of Mustangs. Abube Honor leads Diego Mateo 7th and 8th for those two Mustangs. Brett Samuelson in 9th in the 29 Lexus with Dom Matroni. Not too far behind him in the number 5 McLaren. Battle going to be beginning here. Anybody a rookie on the grid? You know, I'm not too sure. Certainly some new names to me, but if they are rookies, they are proving to be quite quick. As we had a bit of a lull in the middle half of the race now. The gaps are closing, and the battles will soon pick up. Ryan Joyner on the tail of Chris Jackson for 11th place. Ryan Joyner with an up and down race, was inside the top 10 at one point, dropped back to as far as 15th, I do believe, and now back to the position he started, looking to make up a place around the outside of the McLaren. Can he find the grip to get the move done? Runs out wide beyond the track limits. He will have to drop back behind the McLaren and try and fight a different way through. All the Corvettes seem like they're getting into the action here. Mercedes Harrison within a second of the final podium position. Nana Afawakwa holding on to that one in the number 23 AMG. And Hashim Ali finding the pace once again. The gap over 1.5 seconds between himself and Zach Terrell, picking right back up again, getting within a second of a top 5 finish. Hashim Ali really applying the pressure now, as close as he's ever been to Terrell. Within half a second now. Can he maintain this position and fight his way through the Porsche and claim a top 5 result here tonight? Joyner inside of Chris Jackson gets the move done. That was at the final corner with a great move. Oh no, excuse me, that was not the final corner. That was exiting Woodcott. But nevertheless, a still good overtake from Ryan Joyner in the number 20. He's got a pretty substantial gap to try and make up to get himself into the top 10. 21 seconds to Dom Matroni in the number 5 McLaren, holding on to that final top 10 place. Mercedes Harrison hanging on to the back of Afawakwa. Into the closing 10 minutes we go. Battles really picking up here in the closing minutes of this one. Hashim Ali got very close to Zach Terrell, but into the braking zone of Stowe, ran just a touch wide, and giving Terrell a bit of breathing room. Hashim Ali needs to stay as close as he can to try and work his way through those little bits where he's just running a touch wide, costing him that time he needs. Try and stay close to the Porsche. Got a bit of traffic up ahead of them as well. That is the Lexus of Bort Bonnerson, staying politely out of the way of this battle. But even despite that, the gap growing. Ali over a second behind Terrell. Harrison sticking close to the back of the AMG, though. Harrison looking for a repeat podium from last week. Can the Corvette fight a way through? Looking at the back of the number 50 Aston Martin for the first 10 or 15 minutes of this race. After he got some clean air, able to reel in the AMG for a final podium place. And Afawak will hold on to the podium finish here. Started from third. Has not moved up or down. Maintained this great pace to hang on to the podium position. Sure, it's drifted a little bit back from the top two. The pace is still enough to lift a trophy at the end of the day. As these two now approach the Lamborghini of Brian De Santiago. And look at that, Afawakwa benefiting from a bit of a slipstream from the Lamborghini as well. And his chances to stay ahead of the Corvette, and that has grown the gap. Just about a tenth more, and another little flash from the AMG there. But still out on the track and rolling. As we head into the final few laps, Nana Afawakwa looks to hold out in this third position from start to finish. Mercedes Harrison is making a tough battle out of it though. Started from inside the top five in the Corvette, looking to get up to third. Into Brooklands. Not a good enough of an overlap for the Corvette to try and fight into the braking zone. But it's here on corner exit that the Corvette can really benefit and try and stay as close as possible as they head into Cops and then Maggotts and Becketts. And here the Porsches roaring about 6 seconds up the road from these two. They are just getting into the braking zone at the end of the hangar straight. These two just now getting there. With Afawakwa remaining ahead of Mercedes Harrison. Final lap for Jake Terrell in the race lead. The number 83 Porsche started from pole and now is a 3-second gap to manage to the end here in the final lap. With lots of tight battles going on elsewhere. Hashim Ali trying to get by Zach Terrell for a spot in the top 5. He's looking to line a move up, but can't quite do it in to Village. Now the loop, the long way around for the Lexus, the Porsche, closing off the apex and not allowing the 686 to get the over-under opportunity. And now out and on to the Wellington Straight. Heading to Brooklands. Can the Lexus fight his way through? Thought about having a look down the inside, but thinking the better of it. Overtaking opportunities are running out for these drivers. Just up the road, Mercedes Harrison applying heavy pressure to the back of Afawakwa into what will be third place at the end of this one. Will the AMG hold on and escape the pressure thrown by the Corvette? Can Mercedes Harrison fight a way through? Half a second separates them as they head into the final few corners. Jake Terrell out of the Vale chicane, out of the final corner to take the checkered flag and race win number 3 of 3 on the season. Ivan Cabral behind him, 3.5 seconds separating our top 2. Nana Afawakwa holds off the pressure thrown his way by Mercedes Harrison and will stand on the podium tonight in the number 23 AMG. Mercedes Harrison across the line in 4th. Zach Terrell holds off the pressure thrown his way by Ali, and he will finish inside the top 5 in the number 69 Porsche. Good race from Ali as well. As Abube Honor looks to be the lead Mustang, or he was hoping to be the lead Mustang. No, he drifts out of the final corner. It is going to be Abube who will be the lead Mustang, the 55 across the line. As Mateo goes spinning out of the final corner, that'll promote Samuelson up to 8th, Matroni up to 9th, and only now Diego Mateo crosses the line in reverse in the 787 to finish inside the top 10. Ryan Eason ahead of Chris Jackson. Eason will finish in 11th place. Jackson in 12th. Ryan Joyner in 13th place. De Santiago takes the checkered flag in 15th. Bonderson in 16th. And here's Ryan Eason getting up to 11th place. Joyner 13th. Last but not least, Dr. Porkchop in the 71, showing another defensive masterclass today. He will take the checkered flag in the Gulf livery in 14th place. So it's Terrell on top for week 3 of 3. Cabral in 2nd, Afawakwa 3rd. I think Harrison must have had a penalty because Harrison did take the checkered flag but dropped back to 6th. That'll promote Terrell, Zach Terrell that is, in the 69 Porsche up to 4th, and Ali will round out the top 5. With that being said, we'll take it back to the studio and wait for our podium sitters for the rundown of how their race went tonight. Everybody's in and ready. Welcome in, podium sitters. Hope you guys are doing well. Jake, race win 3 of 3. Looking pretty good. Had a lot of pressure at the start there, though.
Yeah, well, even before the race start, Ivan's quali pace was crazy, and I was definitely having to give it everything and just barely beat him out there, which getting on the pole for the start was for sure well needed because those first few laps, he was really putting the pressure on, and I was having to put on what I felt like was a good defense, and I finally got into a groove and was sticking the pace down and just throughout the race started pulling and pulling and pulling until the last few laps. The rear tires were trying to kill me, so I was in bring it home mode for the last few laps. But good race win. It was a fun start, and Ivan's pace was definitely pressuring for sure. I was keeping an eye on the Delta for the entire race.
Yeah, Ivan, did you think you had any chance at the beginning there to try and sneak your nose in? We saw in the couple of opening laps you tried to kind of get a little bit of an over-under opportunity, but just nothing opening up your way there.
Yeah, I felt like I had a better second and third sector than Jake, but I never had like a clear opportunity to make a move. because I was really not confident on the brakes, just because I felt like I would just crush both of us, and that wouldn't be nice. But overall, I felt like the both of us had a real good pace. Eventually, like around the mid race, I started to lose a lot because of the tires. But yeah, it was a really fun race today.
Yeah, and it looked like it was super fun for you as well, Nana. At the back there, under pressure at the start from the Aston, and at the end from the Corvette.
Yeah, I may not have had the pace as the top two, but otherwise, it's nice to be on the podium for the first time. But I was really struggling with tire degradation throughout the whole race. So otherwise, it was a fun race. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a good bit of fun for you. Two cars chasing you down at the start there. Did you happen to catch what happened to the Aston that was behind you?
I have no clue. Like, he was behind me for a bit, then all of a sudden he just vanished. So I believe it was a connection issue.
Yeah, that's kind of what happened on our end. We were tuned into a different battle at that moment, and then I see the Aston in the pits. I'm like, uh-oh. that's not good. But yeah, talk us through what it's like to hold off the Corvette at the end there, especially with some old tires.
Yeah, so pretty much the Corvette had the advantage like in the braking zones and the acceleration, but I was able to carry more speed due to high-speed corners, so that's how I was able to stay ahead. So I was really struggling at lower speeds with the tire degradation, like lots of rear sliding and everything.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah, it seems like everybody was struggling with that. Like you guys at the Porsches at the front saying the same thing. The rear tires just starting to give at the end there. Is there anything you guys can do to tweak that and help yourselves out for the next race?
I think it's just the nature of Silverstone. It's a lot of turns, a lot of high speed, into heavy braking, and I feel like it's just a nature of the track itself. But you know, the only way to really avoid so much tire degradation is not to push as hard. But if you're not pushing hard enough, you're not really racing, and you're just gonna let the competition fly by. So it's just kind of finding the balance of, riding the edge of the tire grip throughout the race. And for the most part, I feel like, we all did a good job of doing that and holding our pace throughout the race.
Yeah, because it's like when I started practicing for this race with this setup that I was using, it was really really loose in cops and Maggotts and Becketts, and the stow corner, three critical corners for at least for me for lap time, and yeah, it was just about to get confident with the car.
Yeah, I agree. But I believe that Silverstone just rewards a car of more natural rotation, like the Porsches. Because I believe like the front engine cars, like the Merc and like the Aston, kind of struggled a bit, like in quali. So I guess it's just a track.
Yeah, it could be a matter of track. We'll
Like
see.
track and car combination.
Yeah, exactly. Track and car combo. But so far, it's been 3 for 3 Porsches on the race win. Congrats, Jake, once again on the race win. Congrats, Ivan and Nana, for joining us on the podium tonight as well. Move you guys on back to the green room. Thank you for joining us for the quick chat. Podium sitters. Now we get set up for the raid. Tomorrow, join us here at the Trackilicious Twitch for the Wednesday Multi-Class Championship, going into round number 3 tomorrow at Zolder. And then on Sunday, the MX-5 iRacing Cup is in action. Get yourself signed up for that and anything else on SimGrid. Thank you for the follow at the end. Oh, and of course, the LMU Multi-Class Championship on Fridays as well. 75-minute races, a pit stop. Get yourself signed up for some Friday night fun for that. Monday is the GT4 ACC Rookies. And next week we will be bringing you round number 4 of the LMU GT3 Championship as we will be hitting the halfway mark next time out. Lots to look forward to. But for now, stick around for the raid of Benjamin George doing some Le Mans Ultimate. Continuing on the action we saw here. Thank you all for joining us, watching along, commenting, racing, and thank you for all of the hard work the admins, managers, stewards do in the background to keep this all running nice and smoothly. Hope to see you tomorrow for the stream of round number 3 of the Wednesday multi-class. Tyler Morgan will be joining us for that one with his usual curse predictions. So make sure you got your points saved up for the protection. But until then, stay safe. Have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you may be watching. Thank you, as always, for joining us here tonight at Trackilicious. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.